gentlemen.
We'll be playing more of the Eagles music as a tribute later on in the show, but
possibly, depending how well things happen.
Well,
maybe
didn't
we'll
you hear everybody clap and applaud? I mean, they enjoyed
I
that.
know, but I'm thinking.
But we do have other things to discuss, as I said.
Oh yeah, we got a phone call.
Do we now?
Hello. Good evening.
Hi, Felix. How are you?
Good. And who's
Mark,
this?
how you doing?
Okay.
It's Carol from Arkansas.
Oh, wow. Long time no speak.
I know. Lots has happened since I last talked to you.
Well, I keep seeing the flowers being posted from your boyfriend, and you have Ernie's grave posted, so, but you see, you never respond to anything that I write, So I've been avoiding you.
I'm in mourning.
You're in mourning. Why? What happened?
Oh, no, just a lot of stuff has happened in the last 15 months.
Well, I mean, but after Ernie, which was sort of expected, and it was kind of sad. For those of you who don't remember, Carol had called up one time, and her husband, who was a first sergeant in the Army, very sick at the time, he got on, and we were chatting for a while, and then unfortunately, shortly after that, he passed away. But Carol now has a new main squeeze in her life.
Does she?
Well, so I'm led to believe.
Daniel,
all right, congratulations.
I tell you, those are nicer than the flowers that Felix gave me. Let me tell you. Although it is Valentine's Day soon, so I'm dropping a hint now, Felix. I expect flowers.
You got it.
Okay.
No, I think you need a ring.
A ring? No, you don't need a ring to send flowers. I mean, that's the problem. Men always send flowers to women, and it's very nice. It really is, But on the other hand, what?
You want to talk to Dan?
Is he there?
Here, hold on. Here, say hello. He's running away.
Well, you know why? Because he doesn't know me. He doesn't know us. And
I know. I told him we were passionate lovers when I was 15.
That's right. Carol and I always wondered why we never got together. And I think that's because we didn't discover each other until about 40 years later. But it was a little late, What can I say? Carol and I were always saying, what if? But
what if?
What if, exactly. Well, isn't life full of what ifs? If I would have made a right turn instead of a left, if I would have followed this girl instead of that girl, or this guy instead of that guy, who knows?
Never know.
Who's Chad?
Chad is a caller that became a regular caller. He
is our religious guru. He is a reborn Christian. And he's trying
to. Because I never saw it before. I saw it on your website now. So
he's trying to convert Felix and I. He
wants to. Dan wants to know if you've got Howard Stern there.
Actually, you know how in show business comedians like to say, "I gave him his start." Well, I mean, I gave Howard Stern his start in show business as a talk show host.
Oh, really?
And then he just took it to the end.
Well, I've chased Dan out of the house.
Why'd you do that?
Leave him for a cigarette.
Oh, well, that sounds like Ellen. At least he doesn't smoke in the house. Huh? Carol.
What?
At least he doesn't smoke in the house.
Oh, no. He's not supposed to smoke at all.
Well, neither is Ellen, but, it's hard to teach people. I have to say, I think a lot of people know that drugs are very difficult to kick the habit, but I really think that cigarettes are just as difficult, okay? Because
it's an addiction, yeah.
So many people have tried.
Caffeine is a drug.
Yeah, so many people have tried.
Nicotine.
And, they just keep going back.
Well, when I
Yeah.
quit,
Well, he even took that Chandrix, and he almost got off of it, and then we were in a situation at a party where people were smoking, and it made him smoke again.
Hey, listen, let me tell you, Ellen. Ellen had surgery on actually 4 aneurysms. Okay, the day before her
Oh, boy.
surgery,
Yeah.
the day before her surgery, and she came to the hospital with cigarettes. Okay, and she was on the surgical floor already, and the the doctor knew what she wanted. She wanted to go downstairs and have a smoke. And he looked at his
Uh-huh.
PA and said, "What do you think? You think we can let Ellen have a last cigarette?" You know, and they both laughed because she promised me she was going to stop. And I honestly thought that for 5 years after that, she had stopped smoking, but she was cheating. And I didn't know. Okay. And I was telling everybody how proud I was of her. All right. And then it became obvious that she was smoking again. And it's just such a hard habit to break. It truly
Oh, yeah. He
is.
gives me his pack of cigarettes and says, just give me, a couple a day. And he keeps coming over to me and asking me for a cigarette. I said, you know what? You might as well take it because I'm just going to give it to you anyway.
Well, you don't smoke, do you?
No, I don't do
Oh,
anything. I'm a
you
good
mean
girl.
you were holding on to his cigarettes?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he told me to hold on because if not, he'd take and take and take. This way I could sort of ration it out to him.
Well,
But
Carol,
he keeps asking me, so I said, here, you want to
I
show
know
yourself?
I know I can't embarrass you, but we do go back far enough where I guess I could say this, and chances are no one that we know is listening anyway, so we could get away with this.
That's right, George, Ira,
No, no,
whatever.
no. They don't even listen anymore, please. I'm very disappointed.
Oh, geez.
They used to listen occasionally, but they don't even. I was going to say, you have the cigarette, so you're controlling it. So tell him, you
Right.
want a cigarette? And then point to yourself whether you want a little bit of this. Okay? Give him
I've
the.
tried that. I've tried that. I've tried that.
He'll take the cigarette, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that's probably true.
Well, I know.
I know it would be true for Ellen. She'd laugh at me if I ever did that.
Well, I quit smoking
Oh,
many, 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 many years ago, and it was hard. And it's funny. I quit in the same. I quit in the same situation Dan went back to smoking. I was in. I don't know
and
if
you
you
never
remember.
get the urge?
Yeah, but I just. Do you remember the old days they used to have cigarette in the wedding? I went to a wedding.
Yeah, they used to
Where
have them on the table
they
in
had
a
cigarettes all over
glass.
the place.
Right.
And that day I decided to quit.
Well,
And I said to myself, if I can, here I am having a drink where all the cigarettes in the world are in front of me and I'm not smoking, I can kick the habit. And I did.
well, I remember. You remember Linda, don't you, Carol?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Linda was pregnant with Stacy, our oldest daughter, and it was November. Stacy was born in April, and she had stopped smoking, and I said, it's only right that I stop smoking. So in November of 1975, I stopped smoking, and I haven't had a cigarette since. Okay, I just never went back. I was never a big smoker anyway, but I just never felt the urge to have a cigarette. But
That's good. That's great.
I did that because I felt it wasn't right for me to smoke. And at the time, she was a smoker, but she stopped because she was pregnant, And, but, it's like you say, when I went to college, we all used to bum smokes off each other. And nobody ever wanted to borrow my cigarettes. I'd take a cigarette from me. And I would say, why? And they said, because your cigarettes are 2 weeks old and it's so stale that, that's what kind of a smoker I was. I couldn't tell the difference, so I would light it up and they would say, oh, it's terrible, because
That's funny. Yeah.
guys like Danny or Joel, I mean, they would finish the pack in a day and a half. And I had it for 2 weeks. Nobody wanted my cigarettes. But then again,
Well,
what?
no, I was just going to say that I'll let you go back to your program because it has nothing to do with Martin Luther King. So,
No, we're just catching up right now, and that's okay. We always said if somebody calls up you know, they control the discussion. Whatever they want to talk about is fine. We could always go back to Martin Luther King, and we can go back to Glenn Fry and the Eagles. We can talk about the debates.
That's right. Before you said David Fry, Glenn Fry.
It's Glenn. I did say David. Then I do apologize because it's Glenn Fry.
I'm not going to. Oh, I was talking to what's his name?
I know. Tell him if he has something to say, he should get on the phone and say it. We're all old friends here.
Oh well, he's weird. All right.
Well, a lot of people find it hard.
Doing
Carol,
a great job, you and Felix.
It was great.
Keep in touch.
Please do. It was great having you call. Tell David he's a lucky man because it could have been me.
Okay. Take it easy.
All right.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was an old friend. I won't tell you how long because I don't want to give out her age. She'll never talk to me again. But then again, I guess when you get to be a certain age, you want to tell people how old you are because, unfortunately, there are many people, as we are finding out now, who haven't even reached that age. We have singers that are dying left and right, famous people, all from cancer or something related to that. I don't know if I mentioned it, but last week, if you watched Father Knows Best, Noreen Corcoran, who played the daughter to John Forsythe's father, she passed away earlier this last year in October of 2015. Her brother Kevin passed away, who used to be one of the original Mouseketeers. So, it's unfortunate. As I tell Felix all the time, and I tell my wife, the first thing I do in the morning, I don't even go to the sports section.
You read the obituaries?
I turn to the obituaries, and if my name isn't there, I know it's a good day. What can I tell you? So, that's what it's become, literally.
Well, I'm not that bad yet.
That's all right. You're still younger than me, so it's okay.
I hear it on TV or the radio. I don't have to look at the obituaries.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we wish that you would call us up and let us know what your thoughts are about Dr. King. As we said, a good 50 years later, 53 years later,
things improved
his dream still hasn't really been realized. You hear a lot of people saying that when Barack Obama was elected, a lot of people thought that this was going to be the end of prejudice and racism.
Got worse.
But we find that
it got worse.
More than any other president, okay, he has faced so much hardship. I mean, he took over when we were in the throes of a terrible recession, like one step above a depression, actually. He managed to bring us back to this point. People are blaming him for jobs that are outsourced now to Europe and to third world countries. But that's not his fault. It's big business and manufacturing finding that it's cheaper for them to do business overseas and then bring the stuff back here. And if you're a 50-year-old worker or a 53-year-old worker, you still have 10 to 15 years left of good work before you can even retire and maybe get Social Security, but you don't have a skill anymore. What is somebody to do? You have to be retrained. Now, the Democrats have